Good evening, everybody. This is David Lipschitz here, just getting ready to start the recording. And I've solved the crisis that we had with the sound, which I'm very pleased about. I'm re-recording the early videos that weren't very good. This is video number 2, which is about the white paper on the energy policy of the Republic of South Africa from 1998. That's quite a long time ago, 1998. And so it's getting a bit comfortable over here. Joey the cat has joined us again for the process. Just to go through how we work here. There's 4 sections of this course, if you like, to Dear Moody's. The first is called Policy and Law. The second is called Translation. The third is called Commentary. And the fourth is called Hidden Messages. So if we go through, there's always something to do in my office. It's very noisy around here. Lots going on, as you can see, at R&D Central. Policy and law is, policy is where government creates a white paper. And you'll see the document. I'm going to show it in a minute, but this is what it looks like. I've printed the relevant pages that I'm going to go through with you tonight. And policy is in a company what we call strategy. Law in a company are the processes and methodologies that allow the strategy to be implemented. So law, government, processes, company. Translation are professional opinion, professional commentary by professionals who have qualified in the industry and who are qualified to comment. Commentary is from people like me who have learnt, because I'm a scientist and I studied computer science, did honours in computer science, did an MBA, and so I'm a scientist. I did a BSc, Bachelor of Science degree at the University of Cape Town and then Rhodes University and then Cranfield, MBA, and so I feel qualified to be able to comment, but perhaps not to translate. So let's look at the white paper from 1998. We'll zoom in a little bit so we can see full screen. And we're looking at the white paper on the energy policy of the Republic of South Africa from December 1998. Created by the Department of Minerals and Energy in Pretoria. There's their phone number, their fax number. You know, we used faxes in those days. And then it was written in 1998. And copyright by the Department of Minerals and Energy. I'm not going to change anything. I've made some notes about it. I'm going to comment on it, but I'm not changing any of it. It's 21 years old, and it's a white paper, which means it's strategy. It's a white paper on energy policy. Policy is strategy. The white paper is how the government presents their strategy. It's got a table of contents, executive summary, all the normal stuff. And as we know, South Africa is a country endowed with abundant energy resources. I'm not going to go through the stuff we already know, but let's go and look at the stuff I've highlighted. Government is committed to the promotion of access to affordable and sustainable energy services for small businesses, disadvantaged households, small farms, schools, clinics, in our rural areas, and a wide range of other community establishments. Okay, so this, as provided in our Constitution, the state must establish a national energy policy which will ensure that the national energy resources shall be adequately tapped and developed to cater for the needs of the nation. Energy should therefore be available to all citizens at an affordable cost. So the first sentence says we need to provide electricity for disadvantaged communities in rural areas, and then the last sentence of the highlighted insert says that energy should be available to all citizens at an affordable cost. And as we know, in the last 10 years, electricity prices have gone up by 5 times. And in this block here, I've said access, level the playing fields. So this is the central problem that I believe we have in South Africa. The energy intensive user group, the top 40 electricity users, plus places like shopping centers and big industrial users get sort of time of use tariffs. They get all kinds of perks. They get cheap electricity. And the rest of us don't get that. They get to buy their electricity resources before tax and before VAT. They get to be able to sell electricity to the grid. They get a lot of perks, and they've had these perks for many, many years. But regardless of all that, this 1998 paper says that South Africa is interested in levelling the playing fields. There was already an energy policy discussion document in August 1995. So this process has been happening for a long time, ever since the ANC came to power, the first democratic government in the modern South Africa. The white paper will not therefore serve as a means to reinvent the wheel, except that we know in South Africa Eskom tried to reinvent the wheel constantly, but will constitute a formal framework within which the energy sector will operate within the broad national strategy for reconstruction and development. It will serve to bring more focus and direction to what has already been achieved. So, the government said we're not going to reinvent the wheel. Yet, Medupi and Kusile are power stations that have never been built in the world before. They haven't been prototyped, and they are having massive problems building them. They're trying to achieve 42% efficiency in the hydraulic systems, the turbines, and 34% is the worldwide average. They thought that this extra percentage would dramatically improve production, but actually these power stations are operating at about 60% of their efficiency, and they're 5 years behind schedule, and they're twice as much over budget. In fact, more than that. They are budgeted to cost 150 billion together, and they're costing almost 3 times as much, 420 billion. So we need to go to page 43. You can see this document's got 110 pages. We're now going to go to page 43. 43. And we see there's a restructuring of the distribution sector. Now, you might have read recently that the government wants to split Eskom into 3. And this has been going on. They've been talking about this since even before 1994. It says the industry is highly fragmented. Currently, more than 120 municipalities have less than 1,000 customers, and more than 90 municipalities have revenue less than 1 million per annum. So actually, the industry is not highly fragmented. Eskom is a monopoly. Eskom provides all of our energy, electricity energy, and Eskom is also something called a monopsony. A monopsony is somebody who's the only buyer of electricity in South Africa. So if I make electricity and I export electricity, the only person I can legally sell electricity in South Africa, according to a monopsony, is Eskom. And then the financial health, as we know, there's a lot of municipalities that are out of business today. In fact, at the Orange Free State, I think there isn't one municipality that passed its accounting audit. And this was in 1998, when the government noticed that there was already a problem with the financial health. People pay different amounts of prices, anything from 22 to 32 cents per kilowatt hour. In Mpumalanga, 9 cents. So we could say 9 cents in Gauteng up to 32 cents in Mpumalanga. Well, this was 9 cents 20 years ago. And just to give you a comparison, I'm currently paying 2 Rand 50 per kilowatt hour. So what's 25 divided by 10? Is it 25 divided by 10? Or is it 250 divided by 10? It's 250 cents divided by 10 cents, which means that in 20 years, the price of electricity has gone up 25 times. It says economies of scale, skill and specialization are not being captured by many of the small distributors. And as we know, not by Eskom either. And how are we going to restructure? And then we're going to go to page 55. It says here government will initiate a comprehensive study on future market structures. One of the things that our government is very good at is comprehensive studies. Present restructuring initiatives in the distribution sector and future plans for restructuring generation indicate that it's very necessary for Eskom to be restructured as a preparatory step for competition in the electricity. This is what we're reading in 2019, people. And we were reading this in 1998. In the long term, Eskom will have to be restructured into a separate generation and transmission companies. And this is what we're reading at the moment. I'm going to find a document quickly. See if I can find it. And I'm sure I can. Just give me a second. I'm going to pause the video while I find it. Let us continue. I found a document from 13 days ago, dated the 20th of June 2019. It's currently the 3rd of July. And if you scroll down, this is in Eyewitness News, EWN, new CEO, unbundling plans. On the progress to unbundle Eskom into 3 entities, generation, transmission, distribution, government will soon appoint a chief restructuring officer. Now, how does this compare with what we were looking at over here? From 1998. The 1998 white paper says in the long term Eskom would have to be restructured. How long? 21 years? It's long enough. Next time we'll look at the 2003 white paper on renewable energy. Thank you.